Okay. Lots to go through. There's lots of you. Okay, so back in the early 60s, there was lots of rockets exploding. The video here, which isn't working, shows that there was a really bad period in the early space race where everything that you touched would explode. And the learnings that you would take from that failed experience was enormous. So this is what we've tried to create through our connected car experience. We've basically created the most internet-enabled car that you could possibly imagine. So the Shitbox Rally is it's an event that happens every year. It's raising money for cancer. You're allowed to spend a maximum of $1,000 on your car to drive from Perth to Darwin. It's pretty epic. So they raised around $1.5 million for the charity. So we had a vision of creating the most internet-connected car you can imagine. We just wanted this thing bristling with technology. So this was our original concept. It was going to have telematics coming out of the engine, three webcams coming out of this, satellite connectivity. It was going to be absolutely epic. This is the final product. We think it looks pretty good. This is was pretty much bang on the design brief, which is always important. This is us somewhere between Perth and Darwin, in the middle of nowhere, covered in dust. It was good times. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the inside of the car. It was radness overload. We crammed so much technology into this thing you wouldn't believe. There was everything you can possibly imagine. This was the first time that we got to be our own client, so we went to town and created lots of great services for our own hardware, which has got its pros and cons. So we tried to identify what was a fail and what was a win in this whole thing. And looking at the code creation, I'm not a developer, by the way, this is just what I'm being presented with. It shows that we made a lot of things, we broke a lot of things, and we fixed a lot of things. And that's a metaphor for the whole project. First fail was power. First thing we did with the car was doubling the output of the car in power, but we tripled the usage, so that's bad. Things like a foot massager, disco lights, and all the hardware we put in there. So things kept on crashing all the time. We also failed a little bit on content creation, and that is hard. That's not what we do for a living as technology creatives. And trying to create all of that on the fly through multiple channels while your power is dropping out and things are crashing, you don't know why, and you're doing a rally is pretty hard. OBDII telematics. Now that's a really great way to pull out data from vehicle systems and really easily present that to systems. If anyone tells you that, they're an absolute douche canoe, which in this case was me. Sorry, everybody. We also kind of failed a little bit on our satellite reliability, although we did actually be able to measure it, so that was kind of cool. That meant that a lot of our content getting uploaded back up was getting clogged in the system and it wasn't working. We also had this great idea of allowing people to hack our radio or an air conditioner. So you could go to the website and for a small donation, you could automatically control in real time, make us listen to Justin Bieber in 42-degree temperature. So that was awesome, but the OBDII man didn't work. Winning! So the car looked freaking awesome. We were so pumped, and people were just naturally attracted to what we'd created, and they got the story of what we were trying to do. It was the internet-enabled car. It was a personification of the internet, and people were really willing to donate to our cause. We did kind of manage to make the hack, the radio, and aircon working. We were pulling in a manual a feed of requests, and then manually actually entering them into the thing just out of honesty, and that was most of the time. Except when Justin Bieber came up. We also won, I think, at all the software services created. We created a website, a really great app with hidden cat Easter eggs because we're the internets. We created heaps of different kind of bits of social content through different feeds. So that worked. We got that happening. We also caught an enormous amount of analytics. We're still kind of trailing through that. It was around 3 terabytes, and we're still kind of, defining what all that is. It wasn't really 3 terabytes. It was. But it was good. That's helped us to define, success and failure, and we're still working out. Baby wipes. Oh my God. You cannot believe the value of baby wipes. Everything beyond your bum. When you're out in the desert, in the middle of nowhere, you're using them for everything. They are great. On a 4,500 kilometre trip through the desert, we raised $20,000 for the Cancer Council. So thanks to over 60 amazing people that worked on this team across events and auctions and multiple donations. It was just a huge success. So I'm just one of the figureheads in it. The epic exposure to tech and services. That's the biggest win for me. We were so inundated with all the technology and all the different things we're trying to do, we realise in hindsight that just that exposure and that engagement with all that different kind of technology was great. So what I'd like to put out to people is any chance you can get, if you're interested in technical creativity, get into, divulge yourself in as much technical consumption as possible. Find your own failed production and win at awesomeness. Thank you.
Thank you, David McGowan.